Does it really look like that much of a potato? It doesn't look like that on my end. Does it really look like that much of a potato? It doesn't look like that. Well, I hope that clears up, because that sucks. Alright, I'll switch to my phone and check 1, 2. How's that? Minus the loop. Is that better? Is that better? How's the audio? Is the audio good? Wow, this is a gong show. Yeah, I'm up. There's a video going live at 10:30 tonight. Don't miss it. Well, that sucks. Is that better? How's that? Well, that sucks. This is garbage. What is wrong with the internet? I have a really good connection, so I don't know what's going on. I can't believe this doesn't. It's like that. I think I would prefer the better audio. Just waiting for Jordan and McKay anyway. You get me as a potato tonight. TK smoothie, smooth tank. TK smoothie. Just waiting on my guests. Weird. They're having some technical difficulties. Or you know what? I know why it's potato, because I'm uploading my Shannon Rose video. So once it's finished uploading, it'll go clear. Yeah, it's 10:30 EST. Always. Welcome. Where's everybody from? Where is everybody from the sizzle? I am gonna update the PPP stuff. Well, there they are.
I did it on my iPad for whatever. It would not work.
I don't hear you.
The computer, so
it's just
here we are.
No audio unless I'm. Wait. Go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay.
I hope it doesn't like loop feedback. Can you hear me?
Yes. Now it's good. Okay.
I'm gonna turn you guys up a bit.
McKay
Welcome.
should be back here in a minute.
I don't think we need slow-mo, do we, Ames? I don't think so. We good. I will if we have to, but I doubt it. I did my TK, so I'm like, TK smoothie, smooth tank. TK smoothie, smooth taint. All right. Where's my boy?
He is trying to get the kiddo down.
All right.
Very grumpy today, so.
Everybody got good audio, or you say that Jordan's echoing? I don't hear that. This is like, I'm in the, like, there's no internet, there's not really good internet here, so that's why I look like a potato on this. Plus I'm uploading a video. I literally look like Micah's videos right now.
LOL. Yeah, that's kind of true.
So, everybody's saying you're echoing. I don't
Let me move.
hear that. I don't think that's what it is. I think you might have to put headphones on.
Where are my AirPods?
Hold on, let me see if I can change it.
Let me see if it'll work.
It might be because it's coming through me echoing. I don't know. This is the Gong Show. This is Gong Show.
All right.
McKay's putting down the little one, so if you guys are wondering, McKay's putting down the baby. When he's ready, he can just turn his phone on. You guys can just be in different rooms.
All right, maybe that works.
Is that better? Talk again?
Okay, did that do anything?
I don't know. Let's ask the audience. Still echoing. Oh my goodness, what a gong show we are.
We're a hot mess over here. Sorry, guys.
Oh my goodness. Why can't I can't even edit mine. Doesn't even let me. Oh, here. Does that work? Try talking now.
Is that any better?
I'll get up and get headphones. I'm being lazy. Do I have headphones right here and in my general vicinity? If so, then I will. Is that better?
Does that work? Hopefully.
All right, but can you hear the guitar? Because that's the most important part.
Yes.
Okay, good.
I can hear it.
All right, everybody. Well, that was the longest intro of all time.
It's not working on the...
Okay. I will be fuzzy for another 49 minutes. At least I'll be fuzzy for 49 more minutes. Because I'm uploading the Shannon Rose video.
Ooh.
There he is.
Is that going up tonight? Or tomorrow?
It's going up at 10:30. 10:30 tonight.
Okay.
All right. So we're going to just quickly chat it out. I know I get an email today from a Mormon who said that you guys were just like disgruntled employees and they might come on and ask questions. And I'm like, it's kind of like, yeah, let's do it. If you guys have any questions about what we've talked about so far, if you have any questions for Jordan and McKay about their journey so far, what's going on, or if you have questions about Mormonism, about Christianity, about faith, religion, this is it. This is the stuff. This is the tea, the theology. So
theology.
I think where we kind of left off was I wore the chef's hat. Right? Was that our last one? Was the garments?
So, yeah. I think it was. Yeah.
So when somebody says that you guys are just like disgruntled employees, why is that such a thing where they think that's a discreditation? Just because it's almost like you forget everything you learn when you leave the Mormon church. I don't understand the logic.
I think it's more so they can feel more validated in their position, so they don't have to listen to anything that we have to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of the arguments are usually based in ad hominem. they're like, oh, well, you never really had a solid testimony.
Or you guys left because you just
Or
wanted to
You
sin.
just wanted to sin. Things of that
Okay.
nature where they can feel like they're secure in their faith in the Mormon religion because they
discredits
haven't
us.
allowed their like the doubts or the truth claims of the church to get to them. So
Okay.
it kind of establishes this superiority, I guess.
So, and these people that want to talk to me about it, like, why? And are there ever times where they will go on you, Guy, Exmo, all these ex-Mormon pod? Why isn't there ever debates?
Because they know how it's going to end. Or if they don't, they're not like, the thing is they're like in such a position, I feel like, that they're not going to hear anything that's actually fact-based because they feel like it's anti-Mormon.
Okay.
So it's like kind of pointless. You know what I mean?
Is it, I think this person, Trisha Bat, asks here, I think she's just saying, is it an acceptable thing for husbands to abuse their wives in LDS culture?
They would say, the prophets would tell you no, and that's inappropriate. But then we have talks from previous apostles that are like, oh, if you've been abused, you need to take some degree of responsibility for that abuse. So
that's unbelievable. Holy cow. That to me is just craziness. I think a lot of churches,
yeah,
churches
a legit
do that.
talk. Yeah.
Richard G. Scott.
Okay.
Any Mormons being like, oh no, never had a scriptures.
Which way do you want me?
When you talk, McKay, you got to get really close to her.
Yeah, I'm having her be on the left side. So
okay, cool.
I think the mic is on.
We're likely going to get a lot of questions, like we're likely going to get a lot of repetitive questions that we've had before, which is fine because it's like this is the Q&A night. But like questions like this, like how do your parents feel about you leaving the church? And I think we established, though, wasn't it, Jordan, that your parents don't care as much as McKay's parents do?
My mom's a super devout member, so my mom's not happy about it. It strains relationships, obviously, because their perception is that we don't want to be with them, like in the afterlife. So that's awkward.
But we also established you get your own planet, so I mean, you're not going to be there anyway.
Oh, no? They've changed that now since we've last talked.
They are trying to sweep that under the rug. Like,
are you serious?
What? They used to have an essay about it on the website, and they deleted it.
Yeah.
So now you get a family planet.
Yeah, no more planets. They say that we've never taught about planets before.
Yeah.
What?
And there are lengthy receipts of prophets talking over the pulpit saying that those exact things, like numerous prophets. So
we pulled up a graphic from Latter-day Saints talking about planets, outer darkness. Does that stuff still exist? What do you mean the planets? You're talking about these? You're talking about not the celestial. You're talking about other planets?
Not the levels. Yeah.
Not the levels.
The levels are still there.
Okay.
It's just like when you get exalted in that highest one, and then you get your own planet.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
God.
They're saying that doesn't happen anymore.
I think we misread the email from God wrong. My bad. Do people get excommunicated? Yeah, just jokes. It's a prank. Do people get excommunicated if they don't marry?
Psych, you got punked.
Yeah, psych.
No, you just can't get to the highest level of heaven if you don't marry.
Yeah, there's a lot of single people, and if you are a gay member, well, one of the apostles says there's no gay members of the church. But your only options are to stay single or to be in a heterosexual relationship. So,
I don't understand why if you don't get married, you don't get to go to the top planet. What does that have to do with? That's so stupid.
It is stupid. And it's part of the whole repopulate the earth and get your own planet and be your own god and all those things. So now they're saying that that's not a thing, and so everyone's confused.
This is the thing about and we've talked about this many times. The thing that bugs me the most about Mormons is that when something gets, I don't know, misproven or whatever theologically, they just change it. I don't get it. That why are not more Mormons angry or upset or leaving because of that when they change things?
Because of continuing revelation.
Yeah, well, there's that, and I'm almost positive that most of the members, because they didn't make an announcement about the exaltation, getting your own planet thing.
Okay.
They just changed this obscure essay
In the middle of the
in the
night, it
middle of
was
the night.
just
There was no
gone.
announcement made. So
Unbelievable.
things like that, where it's like, I could and I've debated on going to my family and being like, hey, like when you get exalted, you get your own planet, right? Like you get to become a god, like God is, right?
Yeah.
And I'm 100% sure that every single member of my family would say, yeah, what are you talking about? And then I would just show them, hey, well, look at what the church says about that. I don't know.
This person, half dozen of the other, I think, is a Mormon.
Okay.
Says you guys say many prophets,
Okay.
but then they're saying that you cannot name a single one that ever said people get their own planet. Like, bring the receipts. Let's do it.
Oh, shit.
Let's start with Russell M. Nelson. That was early, what, Christmas?
There's
Last
one.
Christmas that he talked about that. So we've got Russell M. Nelson at Christmas.
Let me look up a Twitter thread. My boy, the Grand Scuba on Twitter.
Yep.
Absolute baller when it comes to stuff like this.
Pulled up all the times that it's ever been referenced. So we got you right now.
I love it. I love it when you bring the receipts. Now, when a person asks this and then you say a bunch that name it, what is generally the rebuttal? Hopefully, we'll find out what it is. But I want to hear after they've heard your receipts. So this person says many prophets, but cannot name a single one that ever said people get their own planet. You're about to give them the receipt. Then what's generally their answer after that?
Mm-hmm.
We'll see.
A few things. It could be like an ad hominem. I'm just going to attack your character because I can't argue with
You're
you
not
about
faithful enough.
Or
Yep.
we get the whole prophet versus man kind of interpretation thing going on. Like, that's not what he meant.
Okay.
He was speaking as a man, not a prophet. Like, that
Okay.
kind of bullshit. We get stuff like that all the time.
Yeah, I can't find the stupid. Did I not favorite it? That's lame.
Oh, did McKay, you got the mic now?
What's that?
Does it sound like it?
Does it sound better?
You guys have, okay, you know what? Take off. I'm going to get my headphones. You guys, in a second, take off. Just see what happens if you unconnect yours and just use the audio through your phone or whatever you're using. See if it sounds good now that I have my echo cancellation on.
Turn it up on the.
That's good. You guys, there's
Okay.
echo? Is there echo?
I think it's good. Sounds good to me.
All right. Okay. So is half dozen here the person who asked this question? Are you still here? Oh, they're saying that you. Oh shoot! Sorry. They're saying that you never said that. That's okay. So half dozen said Russell M. Nelson never said it.
Okay. This is what
You just
happens.
have to-
Like, if you go read his talk, and if you don't gather that from what he said, then that's fine. But that's what he said.
Okay.
Plausible deniability.
Plausible deniability. That's what the church exists on, is plausible deniability. Like, just enough for people to be like, no, that's not what that means. Like, they always have their asses covered.
Okay. So look it up. The speeches are all posted online. It looks like you already looked it up and the speeches are online. So it's just a matter of who thinks. So that's where it's going to end up, right? They're going to say, well, I take it this way. You took it this way. Okay.
That's
So that sounds.
exactly what it is.
I took
Okay.
it this way because I have the spirit, and you took it that way because you don't.
Okay.
Oh man, I can't find this tweet. There's a guy on YouTube, Nemo the Mormon, who did a great compilation. I just watched the other day about it.
Okay.
But he put the citations in the description. This kid,
You look
oh
it
my
up.
God,
I'm
he
not
is-
going to look it up
yeah.
because I've already read it.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's going to be on. See, this is where we get into this argument on the internet that if you guys are claiming something, the onus is on you to prove it, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
They'll rebut it, and then if we can find it, we'll find it. And that might be another video in the future. Maybe we'll have to do an episode on this, the changing theology, which is a really good idea, I think.
Which, I mean, they can't argue with the fact that it was removed in the middle of the night. Okay.
Oh, here you go.
Yeah.
Okay, we're good.
I have a whole list of them.
Okay.
There's a talk from.
Oh, okay. So the Russell M. Nelson one Mormon guy was from 2018. It was his Christmas message in 2018.
Let's see. This one from Gerald Lund.
In 1982.
In February 1982. That's
That's the whole, as man now is, God once was, as God now is, man may be, man may become.
Yeah.
And that's a good one too, because Gordon B. Hinckley went on, let's see. He was on an interview for...
Wasn't it like Larry King or something?
No, this was a different interview on live TV. And he said, oh, well, that's just kind of like a non sequitur. It's not really true. Yeah. But like a month before, he was talking about it literally to Mormons. So, yeah.
I mean, if you want to pick on this thing, if that's the thing that you want to like nitpick on, that's fine. But
so Gerald Lund, not a prophet. He was an author.
Okay, that's fine. Well, Gordon B. Hinckley was a prophet.
Russell M. Nelson's a prophet.
King Follett Discourse from Joseph Smith Jr., the prophet of the Restoration, talks about it. John Taylor talked about it. Joseph F. Smith talked about it. Joseph Fielding Smith talked about it. Lorenzo Snow talked about it. DNC 132 talks about it. I don't know.
Is that an afterseas for you?
Yeah.
I mean, probably not for that person. And half dozen of the other. I appreciate you coming in here and, like it's good. It's rare that you can get people that will do this. So I appreciate it. But like, are they explicitly saying in these talks, do you guys, like most churches, record messages? Like if they live streamed, that kind of thing?
Mm-hmm. Everything.
They are.
We have general conference. They have general conference twice a year, and all of those messages are recorded and kept and published. Right. And so,
unless they're really
sometimes they'll get rid of them, or they'll put in like little ellipses where bad things are, so you don't read the rest of it, that kind of thing.
Oh, okay. So how does it work? Explain it to me like this. So why are people saying it's not true, and what changed in the middle of the night?
So they had an essay about it. They had a gospel topics essay that talked about it that was on the church's website that they put out to kind of quell the whole, what does that mean?
Yeah. To put it in simple terms, the gospel topics essays was kind of like a resource that they would give to people like, oh, I am really struggling with the fact that I stumbled upon that Joseph Smith married a 14-year-old, Helen Mar Kimball. So I'm going to go to my bishop. Well, your bishop 9 times out of 10 is not equipped to handle that.
No.
So they're like, okay, here are these essays that will apologetically explain the whole deal for a bunch of these topics, like polygamy with the church, like becoming gods and things like that. So that becoming a god topic essay was changed like out of nowhere.
Like someone from the ex-Mormon community went to go reference it, and it was gone.
Okay. So it does specifically talk about planets in like the way that we are interpreting it.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Now just question me for half dozen has another question, but Juliana Thompson writes, if you're like a pastor's children, as she grew up as one, do you feel like you grew up in a fishbowl?
I feel like not as much because there wasn't as many Mormons in our area.
No.
Maybe a little bit, but not.
My dad was a bishop. He got called to be a bishop when I was on my mission.
Yeah.
And I only lived back at my parents' place for like 2 months after my mission. So I pretty much missed that whole experience.
See, his response is exactly, I'm assuming this is a dude. His response is exactly what I thought. If you're going to read a list from a slam book. So
what's a slam book?
It's not a slam book. That list is literally conference talks from prophets.
And the list Nemo the Mormon is a Mormon, active Mormon YouTuber. Look him up. It's his most recent video. He's excellent. He has all the sources.
But this is what happens, they try to essentially say that, you're just providing anti-Mormon material, and I can't refute anti-Mormon material because it's anti-Mormon. Like, it doesn't stand.
Yeah. It's not faith promoting.
So, okay, that makes sense, and I'm sure, okay. So, in the end, so I have a question for half dozen of the other, okay, so if it's true that they removed this from the website and you know it, are you in agreement, half dozen of the other, that they did remove something, or are you claiming that they did not remove anything? Because
that becoming a god was never the doctrine of the church.
Yeah.
That's what I want to know, because
okay,
that's like the whole buy-in for me, at least, was that, and I'm like, okay, now that that's off the table, what good is Mormonism for if you're not becoming a god? Like, you go to this multi-million-dollar building and dress up in a goofy apron just so you can get to heaven like the rest of the Christians.
Yeah.
Like,
what's unique about that?
Yeah.
yeah, no, and it's good. I mean, it's okay. I think he has a point here. He's like, specifically, if you're live on a video reading a list of sources, how can someone respond one at a time via chat? I mean, I think the question here, half a dozen of the other, is that we're asking if it's been changed, and you're saying it's not been, but they provided those receipts. At this point, if I'm going to be the judge and jury of this trial, I've got the receipts. So I don't know. You can't get too much into the weeds of nuance. You just have to say it's there and it wasn't there. That's as far as I can see it. I mean, I'm not the judge and jury of this whole thing. That gets detailed. And maybe that's got to be a whole video in itself. So we got to come with the receipts. If we can get the recordings, all that stuff, then it can be irrefutable, right? Here, it's going to be impossible to do that. Someone write me a question. Have any of your friends or family members left the church or considered because of you two?
I don't know if because of us. I think people are more willing to reach out to us because we're out. Like, no direct family members or anything, but we have had like friends and things reach out and be like, "Oh my gosh, I had no idea you were out."
Family.
Yeah, extended family.
I've had a couple extended family members come across our stuff, and then they're like, "Whoa!" and they message me out of nowhere. So that's kind of fun.
This Christmas is going to have way less presents.
It's true.
I don't know what this question means.
Oh my God.
More, Nate Sutton or Paul and Morgan? I don't know who that is.
Paul and Morgan, hands down. Paul and Morgan are the worst. They are absolutely the worst. They're Christian YouTubers that claim to be progressive Christians, but they're just hateful and ridiculous.
They're just fundy.
Okay. They're so fundy.
Fundies.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go down here. Question for Jane. I work with a Mormon man that is married and is very flirtatious and inappropriate with the women he works with, myself included. How does the church look at things like that?
Oh, shit.
Yikes.
He's definitely not supposed to be doing that.
We got some tea, yo.
Yeah, that all kind of depends on Mormon leadership roulette.
Yeah. Maybe he's looking to be polygamous.
Yeah, maybe he's looking for a sister wife. Who knows?
Yeah, that's bizarre.
Yeah, that would be considered a sin, and if his wife were to catch wind of stuff like that and go to the bishop, there might be some church discipline.
Yeah, he could get disciplined for stuff like
that. Let's be real. I doubt it.
Yeah, probably not.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, if you break the law of chastity as an endowed member who's gone through the temple, you're supposed to be like disfellowshipped,
at least, if not excommunicated.
Yeah, but I've heard of many cases where that doesn't happen.
Yeah,
cheating on your wife doesn't produce that kind of a thing. So, which is ridiculous if you ask me.
Yeah, well, I agree. There seems to be many family channels on YouTube that are LDS. Do you think they're trying to advertise to join the religion? Look at our perfect family. Our life is perfect. Now, let me speak on this, and then you guys correct me if I'm wrong. Yes, and yes. Also, yes, because look, Mormons, and you guys, I think I learned from you that Mormons ingest Mormon materials. They ingest Mormon television, YouTube. They rarely venture out into something that might often have them think otherwise, right? So these Mormon family vloggers, and there's like, I mean, all the big ones are Mormon, all the big ones, okay, all of them. I think the Shaytards, all the way down to like crazy pieces in the middles and 8 passengers and Bonnie, all the big ones. I think the accumulation, and I'm going to do the math. I'm just going to ballpark it here, is something in the realm of some 10 to 15 million subscribers on YouTube are Mormon watching these families. And because and I guess, and this Carrie has a good point here. They try to put that perfect family across because, oh, they're Mormon. I want that. That could be an evangelical push. I'm not saying the Mormon church is out there saying, go follow 8 passengers, because they put milk on cake and shit, and that's weird. But
It's kind of weird.
it likely spreads around inside the circles, right? Like a gossip circle. It's the same thing. Hey, have you checked out 8 passengers or whatever the case, right? They become celebrities inside the Mormon church. Did I get any of that wrong?
No, that's totally right. And the thing that I didn't even think about until after we started talking to you about it is if you think about Jordan Page and how much money that she pulls in, that's all they're tithing on that money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is the church going to do anything to stop them from doing that shit?
Maybe,
no way.
Absolutely not.
That's true, right? And they bring in tons of money.
Another thing that the church has been doing for well over a decade now is pushing these organic social media marketing campaigns for the members to participate in, whether it be some like holiday hashtag or something like that. They love that because, like, especially during the I'm a Mormon campaign,
they don't have to pay for it.
They're just looking to get the name out there. People now it's a win for Satan, a victory for Satan, but having people in that sphere who are received by the general millions upon millions of people as being genuine good people and not weird is good PR for the church.
Yeah.
Now, when those people mess up, they'll be the first ones to get thrown under the bus by the church.
Yeah, they won't hesitate to.
Yeah.
Now, half dozen of the other, obviously, it's going to be. I love it. I love having this person here because obviously they're full-blown Mormons. But this is actually a good question. Think about this for a second.
No, I like this question.
I like this question because I said this in my first video about Mormons, that if this is just a big giant ruse and it gets people to know Jesus, then I'm happy. I don't care. But it's not. We know that it's not the same Jesus. We actually know for a fact it's not. Now, what they're saying here is a good question. If someone has a belief that inspires them to be a better person, why do you need to tear that down? Well, I think the racism in itself speaks for itself in the Mormon culture, the secrecy, the patriarchal nature of it, the anti-LGBTQ aspect of it. Can we go on and go on? If it inspires you to be a better person, do those aspects of that religion make you a better person? I don't think so. I would argue they don't.
Well, and the things that make you a better person, like being kind, being Christ-like, aren't uniquely Mormon. The issue that we have with it is that they're harmful and oppressive, and they do discriminate against the LGBTQ, and they're institutionally racist, like a lot of institutions, and they don't do anything to rectify that. Yeah. So when they stop harming people and harming families and tearing families apart, then maybe we'll stop talking about it.
Yeah, and you can expound on that. We did talk about the good things that Mormons do, but again, it's not out. It's every church that kind of does that stuff. And that's great.
I believe that the good things that Mormons do, those people would do those things regardless if they were Mormon or not.
Yeah, it's just being a good person.
Yeah. So it's a great question, because if it inspires you to be a better person, awesome. I love that about that. But at the same time, you cannot often separate the indoctrination that you've been indoctrinated into. It's just inherently built into you, so that
it inspires people.
True Mormon.
Yeah, it inspires people to do good things. It also inspired Brigham Young to castrate gay men. So
that's kind of a bad thing.
That's not a great thing.
It's a half.
And not just
it's a small thing, but
whatever.
Just a little hiccup.
We're gonna erase that from the history at midnight.
Mountain Meadows Massacre too. That's not great either.
Yeah, and Christianity is also wrought and fraught with all this shit throughout the history.
The whole shit going down with the Catholic Church. Up there,
with the
direction. I'm like, oh god, that's
insane.
Not great.
Normans also believe if kids have died before age 10, they just weren't meant to be. Is that true?
So I think I get where this person is coming from. If you 8 is the age of accountability. 8's when the kiddos get baptized. And so they say, if you have a child that did happen to pass away before 8, they don't need to be baptized because they're presumed innocent. Beyond 8, they would need to do like work for them after they had passed, because that's the age of accountability.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Do they still use Mormon underwear?
Hell no.
Oh, Mormons do.
Mormons
don't.
do. We don't.
No, get that out of here.
Just a good question. Why aren't all Mormons modest?
It's becoming like, especially with influencers. Influencers toe the line or just completely cross the line like nobody's business. And the thing is I feel like it, again, we have leadership roulette. Your bishop probably isn't going to call you out on it. Like, they're probably not going to enforce it. They're probably not going to be like, hey, I watched your YouTube video and got a lot of cleavage going on. Like,
maybe cover up or something like that.
Lululemon?
yeah. So there's nobody to enforce that. But if they're not wearing their garments and they're endowed, then that is against their, I mean, it's against what they promised they would do. So.
Right. Okay. I mean, I feel like Lululemon should make some garments.
Yeah.
And everybody be
I would have been so happy
Oh,
with
if
that
they-
when I was a member.
If they contracted some companies to do it, like,
Yes.
there would be a huge market for that.
Yes.
Is there any age you have to be to date if you're LDS?
For like teenagers, you have to be, most parents will enforce the rule that you can't date until you're 16. And even if you do date, it should be like in groups.
That's per the
Hi,
booklet
Alicia.
for the strength of youth.
Is Alicia do we know Alicia?
Yeah, she's in our Discord. She's also,
nice.
yeah, I recognize her picture and her name. Yeah, 16 years old.
Christy Lynn says, who checks for undergarments? If I go to church and they want to check my undergarments, I'm leaving. I just don't understand.
I mean, they make it pretty obvious. Like for men, if you're not
Yeah.
wearing a white shirt underneath,
Oh, and the ones that I wore, they were a scoop neck, so it would come down to like here. So like the seam, you could see really easily.
they just make it really easy to see through what you're
Yeah.
with what you're
Okay.
wearing, especially with
It's-
like the sleeves and
yeah.
everything.
But it's a way to police people.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would do it all the time as an active Mormon because I was like, oh wow, these former missionaries that were serving with me aren't wearing their garments. Oh, are they struggling with their faith or something?
Yeah.
Now I use it when people leave mean comments. I can use it to see if they're actually Mormon, and I can put them on blast in our YouTube videos. So
Yeah.
it kind of still works for me.
Expanding on church discipline, I think this means that, I guess it depends, right? It depends what you've done or how many times you've done it, or what does it mean?
Yeah, I mean, in the temple, if there's a temple recommend interview, to keep that temple recommend. So if you gave like unsatisfactory answers to any of those, then they can withhold your temple recommend or take it away.
Mm-hmm.
But for something like modesty, at least in my experience, I've never heard of anybody having their temple recommend revoked for like wearing something immodest.
Yeah, it would depend on the leader.
Yeah,
But
but I doubt it.
But that's not one. They ask you if you wear your garment the way that you were instructed to,
Mhm.
so they might take it away if you're not wearing it that way. But
It could happen, but who knows?
it would depend on the bishop.
I'd love to be a fly on the wall in one of those meetings. Like, well, okay, we're taking it away, and you're like, okay. How
Okay.
many people just get up and just leave the religion once they get the recommend taken away?
Oh, I bet a lot of people do.
Yeah.
There's
Likely to
things
deliver.
like they'll have a thing with tithing with their bishop, and their bishop's like, you need to pay this amount of tithing to be able to be worthy to go to the temple. And they're just like,
Oh my!
goodbye.
Are you
Yeah.
shitting me? No thanks.
There was we were listening to Mormon Stories podcast with Mike Norton, and he was making fake temple recommends so people could go see their kids get married. This one guy,
I love
his bishop said that if he wanted to be temple worthy, he needed to pay $20,000 in back tithing.
That he hadn't paid.
How did they know it was
$20,000.
$20,000?
It must have been like years and years and years of, well, maybe he made a lot of money. I don't know, but who's got $20,000 laying around to just pay and
that's so
lump sum to
inappropriate.
church?
Yeah,
Don't
and
do
to give to a
that.
church that has $100 billion that doesn't need it.
Yeah, exactly.
This honestly comes up a lot in this culture, in Christianity and Mormonism. When if a female is essayed, do they go to the temple and get married, or are they looked at as unclean?
So this is kind of where that crappy talk that I mentioned earlier comes in. There was an apostle who gave a talk about, he was actually talking about women being victims of abuse, and said that even if you were abused, you didn't, and, it wasn't your fault technically, but you might have to take some degree of responsibility for that abuse. And so the culture is like, it's kind of shitty if you got abused. We're not going to say that, but it's kind of implied. But you can still go to the temple. Your bishop would never stand in the way of you going because you were abused. Unless you have a really, really shitty bishop.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it out of the realm of possibility.
Okay. Wait, what's this? I heard that they don't celebrate birthdays, Christmas, or other holidays.
That's J-Dubs.
Yeah, Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yeah.
So you guys get Christmas trees and shit?
Yeah.
Leave the classroom during play. I think that's Jehovah's Witnesses. I've only personally known one Jehovah's Witness my entire life.
Yeah, I've only known one.
Oh, actually two. The one that I really knew that didn't convert to Mormonism, I was trying to get her to.
This question.
She was in my middle school band, and I remember we played a holiday or a concert for the holidays, and we played a bunch of secular music at the beginning, and then we put all the Christmas music at the end, and after we played the secular music, she got up and left. The whole band. It's kind of weird.
All right. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm just looking for other questions.
Jordan did say
kiddos. Yeah, don't say kiddos anymore, Jordan.
I'm used to doing it from teaching.
I know.
Kiddos is better than little shits. So.
Because I have some friends who are Mormon who are nothing like what you guys are describing. They don't believe in polygamy. They aren't against LGBT.
They could be considered.
They're probably progressive Mormons.
Yeah.
But that it's not in line with the church. So they don't believe in polygamy now, which is fine because they don't practice polygamy here, but they do practice polygamy celestially in the afterlife.
Yeah, we do.
And the church's stances are black and white about the LGBTQ. You cannot be gay and be a temple recommend holder unless you decide to be a heterosexual in a heterosexual marriage, or you forsake yourself and be celibate.
Yeah, celibate. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where a lot of churches right now, modern churches in my religion, are landing too. They're saying that's their answer. They're saying, look, come on out. We love you. Jesus loves you, but you're expected to live a life of celibacy. That's
exactly.
it.
Yeah.
Whoa, this is a good one. I need to know this.
Yes, they do.
Really?
They believe that animals get resurrected.
They believe that wasn't it Joseph Smith that talked about that?
I think so. I think it might be in the scriptures.
But
it might be in that Revelations chapter.
They
DNC 76, I think.
I love it. I'm in.
Yeah, so that's good.
I'm a Mormon.
Ames.
Ames is talking about how do you get rid of the guilt of talking about your truth and experiences?
Therapy.
Therapy is badass.
Therapy and learning how to set boundaries. And the biggest thing I think for the both of us is understanding we can't control how our parents or how our family responds to our boundaries. We just can't control that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we don't talk about it.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not ready to talk about it with them, and they definitely.
I feel like it would never be a productive conversation.
Absolutely not.
But maybe down the line, once they see your content or see how you guys shape yourselves forward, it might be awesome.
Sure, it could happen.
Which would be fine with me.
Do you still do some things out of habit only Mormons believe, or do?
Garment checking.
Garment checking for sure. I still do that.
That's awesome.
Do I do anything else?
That's the one that comes to mind.
I use swear replacements a lot still.
Yeah.
Shit or tits. I mean, shit.
Knuckin' futz.
Do you guys plan on baptizing your son?
No.
Not
Mormon anyway.
Definitely not.
Baptize them in these goldfish. These are so good.
I'm much more interested in that.
Do you guys have these in the States? Goldfishes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Just making sure.
Wait, show it again. It looked different.
It's just a big ass bag of them.
What the hell? We don't have that.
They come in
you don't have goldfish?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're the same.
It just comes in a little carton thing.
Yeah, this is just a Costco.
Oh, okay.
I've never seen a bag like that.
I haven't either.
Okay, we're moving.
Costco. Come on out to Canada. Do Mormons drink caffeinated drinks?
Yes, they can, as long as it's not coffee or tea.
Yep. Those and it's so ironic too that they're like, oh yeah, you can drink synthetic, or I guess it might not be synthetic caffeine, but these crappy sodas, which are
Much worse for
way
you.
worse health-wise than tea or coffee are. So they're clinging on to that. They're like, oh yeah, Joseph Smith was so ahead of his time. Tea and coffee were so bad. And there's literally nothing to back that up anymore.
Whatever, people. Come
Have you
on.
ever had a coffee then? I was not a coffee drinker myself until I got into McDonald's sugar-free vanilla iced coffee, and now
Ooh, I like this one for like canned coffee.
okay.
La Colombe.
Okay, that looks. Is it good?
Oh, it's busting. The other day, we're camping, and I was about to pour one into my little canteen thing, and I opened it and put it on my lap in my car, and it like foamed up. I didn't know it could do that, and all of a sudden there's like coffee all over my crotch.
Hey, nothing wrong with coffee crotch. How do Mormons feel about someone like Bonnie Holine? How do they feel about plastic surgery? Do you think she has specially privileges because of who she is? So basically, she's asking, how does the church feel about plastic surgery? And are like Mormon vloggers and people that are kind of like, Mormon famous, do they have special privileges?
So the interesting thing about you, I don't know if does Bonnie live in Utah? I think she does, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So the interesting thing about Utah is I was talking to somebody, and I've seen some of her stuff, but I was talking to somebody the other day that has somebody that they know that works in plastic surgery here in Salt Lake. And they said the people that work, like the super famous, amazing plastic surgeons that like work in LA and shit, are starting to move to Utah because Utah has almost as high of a demand as places like LA and Orange County and all of those places. So
okay.
Yes, it is totally okay. Don't drink coffee, but get a boob job.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm for it.
I've never heard anybody say against them. Kara!
Hi, Kara.
I think this is for both of us. This is probably for both of us. Now, for me, as a guy who grew up in a fundamental Baptist-style church, no, I was not always accepting of LGBTQ community. Was not at all. I was raised to say that this is a sin, that this is the worst thing you could be. And then I think when I became a pastor, like a real life working in a church, and I started actually understanding my faith for myself, I started realizing that this is such a bullshit lie the church has perpetuated, and for no reason. For what? To again, this. Think about this for a second. The church is meant to be here to create disciples, to love people, right? That's it. That's their job. Not to judge people. It is. Everybody thinks the church is to judge people, and that's what's wrong with Mormons and Catholics in other religions where you have to go confess your sin. Okay, that is in my belief system. That is no-go. You should not be doing that. And so the church isn't there to judge anymore. And if you go to like a mainline non-denominational church, right? The church is only there to like teach, right? To be there to help and to love. So I think I must have been around, I don't know, it was like in my mid-20s where I started realizing that this is a bullshit lie. And then it was a long, slow change for me, because if you're indoctrinated at a young age in church, this stuff is embedded into you, and you don't even know why you think people are like that. It just automatically it hits. So for me, it did take a little longer, and now I'm like, bring on the love. Like, let's go. Let's skip into the sunset together.
For real.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, yay.
I was the same way. I think basically from up until the end of my mission, I was I'll call it like it is. I was pretty homophobic. But as soon as I got home from my mission, I started to change. A lot of things started to change for me. So that was one of them where I was like, it's just, I mean, I have a cousin who's transgender, and I think that was one of the more extreme, not extreme things, but in my like line of thinking was the most extreme thing. I'm like, she's cool by me. I don't understand what's wrong with that. One of my good friends had 2 dads. We would go hang out with them at their house all the time. So it's like,
I think it helps if you have people like that in your circle and
Yeah.
you're exposed to
The
it.
problem here's what I'm going to say about this, because it's such a long topic. We should probably do a whole episode on it. But Christians tend to not put themselves around anybody in those worlds, right? LGBT community, they don't. And as soon as you finally get yourself around people and immerse yourself in a culture, I'm not saying you have to go to like gay bars and stuff like that, but as soon as you meet somebody that lives in that world, and this is why Christians should all do this, it changes everything. When you go on a missions trip as a Christian, it changes you. You see poverty like you've never seen it before, and it like changes your heart. Too many Christians will never speak, let alone accept. And when they don't, they put them outside the circle, and they don't even want to talk to them. They think they're dirty.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. That's why we have to stop even putting a stigma on it. We got to stop talking about the sin of it, or whatever the case may be. Even if you think it is, stop talking about it, because Jesus wouldn't focus on your LGBTQ-ness. He wouldn't. He would only love you for who you are. And if we all did that, could you imagine? It would be so awesome.
It would be so different than what it is now.
so different.
Okay, this is an interesting question. Do Mormons believe that the woman only goes to heaven if the husband who's gone on summons her?
Hi, Susan. I recognize Susan from our YouTube because of the
Right.
dog. I think this is stemming from something that I heard when I was Mormon too, and I don't know if this is like based in doctrine or not, but it's definitely something that I was told. And it's like you get your secret name in the temple, right? And then you tell your husband what your secret name is. And then when you die, your husband comes to summon you by your secret name.
Oh, yeah.
So that's
Chloe,
what I
or
was.
TV.
So,
Yeah.
and thousands of people with the same name, so it's funny. But that I don't know if that's like based in doctrine or not. That's just something that I heard when I was Mormon.
Yeah. Well,
Well-
I brought you through the veil with that.
Yeah.
So
When I die and he brings me through the actual veil, it'll be the same.
What happens if a Mormon couple, let's say you guys are Mormon, McKay says, I'm out, I don't want to be a Mormon anymore. But you do, Jordan, and he dies. How does that work?
That's a good question.
I think doctrinally what I was to understand was that you are sealed together. So if I was unfaithful, didn't keep my covenants, then Jordan wouldn't have anybody to take her to.
And this is a really
Exaltation.
big problem for women. Like in my ward growing up, there was a few women whose husbands weren't active and didn't want to go to the temple, and they were absolutely devastated by it.
Yeah.
So
The way that they probably explain it away is,
you're in
well,
charge
we
of your
don't.
own salvation.
Well, they probably will just sweep it under the rug by, we don't know all the details of heaven, which is extremely convenient. But
Exactly, and they'll change it when it matters, like when it hits the fan. Are you guys dating, and how's the dating going?
I mean,
how is the dating? Is
dating's
it being
good.
well received?
I feel it's kind of nice to think about being dating again. Life was much simpler then.
I know.
Lots of
We are
circles.
married. We have a little baby.
Oh, here's one. You did a mission, McKay. Do Mormons hand out religious pamphlets?
Yep. I can't think of how
There's a
many
lot
there
of them
are.
too.
Yeah.
Great answers.
For the missionary lessons, I think there are, let's see, the restoration, the plan of salvation, the I'm trying to think of what it is in English because I only really learned it in Spanish. The gospel of Jesus Christ. Then there's chastity, tithing, and the word of wisdom. So I think there's 7
At least.
pamphlets at least. I think they were coming out with some other ones, but they were more geared toward post-baptism kind of thing. And then there was like the testimony of Joseph Smith and the family, a proclamation to the world. And so really there's more like almost 10 that we would hand out to people.
Nobody.
And then of course the mother of all pamphlets, chloroform in print, the Book of Mormon. That's Mark Twain's
Okay.
words, not mine.
Are Mormons against piercings and tattoos?
Yes, definitely frowned upon.
Ever since the 90s, Gordon B. Hinckley made it clear over the pulpit that Mormons shouldn't be doing that. No more than 1 piercing in each ear for the women, and that's it. No tattoos.
Okay, that sucks. All right, McKay, are you gonna get tattoos? Jordan, you have tattoos. Do you have tattoos?
I do.
Jordan has another tattoo appointment.
I have one
next
coming
month.
up next month.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna go back out to Colorado in October for my best bud's wedding.
Yeah.
And Jordan has a tattoo artist friend out there, so she's gonna tattoo me for my first time.
Okay. That's gonna be all. I'm planning my sleeve as we speak.
Same.
Oh, hell yeah.
There half a dozen. I don't want to let him just sit in the abyss there in the outer darkness here. There is room in the diaspora worldviews within Mormonism for very conservative and very liberal views. These extreme conservative views just don't represent the church.
I would question where you're thinking that the
Yeah.
church is progressive in any of its views.
Yeah.
Okay.
I, as a extremely leftist person, did not feel comfortable in the
That's
church
not
at
to
the
say
end.
that there aren't like progressive Mormons who like are more left leaning, but they're definitely a minority within the church.
Okay.
And they typically struggle because their views aren't compatible with the church. Like the church says they don't lobby for, one side or the other, but then when Prop 8 was happening in California, they spent thousands of dollars on making sure that making sure gay marriage didn't pass.
Yeah. They have a lobbyist, I'm sure, for a lot of things.
Yeah.
And they have high-level politicians in the American.
Oh yeah, they
Hello, Mitt Romney.
they spend a lot of time campaigning against banning conversion therapy, which is a horribly unethical practice. They are trying their best to make sure that doesn't get banned.
Okay. McKay, anything you regret about your mission, or was there anything that you said that you thought was worth your time?
I have to think of it in two frames of mind. There's the social aspect of it, which I think I benefited greatly. I learned how to form relationships with people and speak to people and things like that, which I'm very grateful. I was also exposed to like an immense amount of culture that I never would have experienced any other place in my entire life. I mean, it was 2 whole years where I was like in the thick of it, of another culture. On the other hand, up until really recently, I was like, whatever. Most of my people who I baptized aren't still there. And now I'm like, they aren't there, but I did use coercive tactics to get them to get baptized. And I do feel a lot of regret for that. So
okay, before we answer Tom's question here, I think we should bring in non-Christian mission trips. Like we should be doing, like it shouldn't just be the church doing them. And I'm surprised. And if you think about it, I'm sure there are other people that do them. But for the majority of serving trips, it's churches doing it, and it's generally a vacation. But I think we should bring that mainstream and take the Christianity out of it and take kids on mission trips, name it something else, right? Where we go to different countries and we look at the poverty, we help, we build the churches, we build the schools, we build the wells. We do that. That should become a mainstream thing because it is life-changing for so many people.
Mm-hmm.
So many people.
Is that like what the Peace Corps do?
I assume. Yeah,
you
sure.
I don't know.
Take the religious piece out of it. Yeah.
That John's podcast, is butt cheek one word or do you spread them apart? I mean, butt cheek is one word. Butt cheeks plural is 2 cheeks. Unless you don't have that.
Spread them cheeks.
Yeah. Something about tarot cards. I don't know what that means.
Curious opinions about tarot cards. I don't have any problem with tarot cards. I got into tarot because my mom told me it was of Satan, and so when I left the church, I had to try it out for myself. And let me tell you, nothing happened to me. I don't have demons attached to me.
Yeah. We're waiting for Catherine Crick to cast those demons out.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm looking for more questions here. What's your current religion with your relation? So, all right, hold on. I think I'm like
strained.
Yeah.
Strained at best.
Strained at best. Except for the ones who have left the church.
They've been supportive.
Yeah.
Here's a question, McKay. I had 2 Mormons visit me in Australia every few days in the hopes of saving me. On one occasion, one of the boys let his name slip and was mortified. I laughed. Why is it?
Oh no!
It's not a big deal. I don't know why they make it a big deal. But
They feel like it's a big deal
it's
when that
what name?
happens.
Yeah,
What name?
I was
What
like,
are you
people are
talking
like,
about?
"What's your name?" And I wouldn't tell him the name. I wouldn't tell him McKay because McKay in Spanish just there's no translation, and
Oh,
it's
so
really hard to say.
are you brother?
Elder.
You're
Yeah.
an elder.
Yeah.
Elder what? Then your last name?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah,
what's
so you
your
go
last
Elder, my last name, and then my first name is different, and there was a Spanish equivalent to it, so I just tell them that. And
Okay.
there were missionaries who they wouldn't even tell other missionaries. Like that's how.
Like they call each other elder. They don't even use their first
Yeah.
names like with each other.
Right. Wait, where was I going with that? Well, I don't even know your guy's last name, do I?
I think you do.
Hey, text me later.
Okay.
Are the Sister Wives TV people hated in Utah and church? They're different.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I could go on and on about Sister Wives. I have some choice opinions about them. They should all leave Cody. That's my thought. But they're
not
like
mainstream Mormons.
they're not mainstream Mormons because they still practice polygamy, and so they're not really. I mean, they're not really accepted in Utah. They don't live in Utah anymore. They live in Arizona.
Oh no, I think they moved back.
I thought one of them was supposedly moving back, but Cody's a shitty person, and they should all leave him. So
Okay. You see the guy with the hair? I don't like
Yes.
him either.
Yeah. Oh, he's like the prime example of like, here's a guy who has multiple wives and absolutely should not because
Yeah.
he's just so dumb.
He's so dumb. All right. Is flirt to convert a widely used process? I actually, this was in my church. It was like a low level joke, not joke. It was one of those jokes that wasn't a joke. Yes. And for men too, flirt to convert, go to high school, find someone that flirt to bring them into youth group. They want to get to know you. Yeah, we'll get to know me. Come on out to youth group and we're going to drink soda through a damn sock. Let's do this.
Well, the ironic thing about it is the church, and I know that they do this because the Mormon Mecca, Temple Square in Salt Lake City, they have missionaries that are there because of all the tourists that come to Salt Lake.
Oh, yeah.
And so when I was thinking about going on a mission, the kind of word about it was you only got to be a Temple Square sister missionary if you were beautiful. Because they picked the prettiest girls to be at Temple
And it's
Square.
only sister missionaries. At Temple Square.
That's almost sinful in itself. That
Yeah.
you're using beauty to attract when that's ew. I don't like that practice.
Yeah.
It's icky.
There was somebody in our home ward who I knew that got a boy to convert because he was in love with this girl.
Did they marry?
And then she, nope.
She ghosted this guy and be friend.
Yep. And as soon as that happened, gone.
Yeah, he's out. He didn't get what he wanted. Wait, I'm looking for questions here. Can Mormons dance? Yeah, I think so. We already covered that. What's this? A Bible distance between you when you're slow dancing. Wow.
Yes.
Book of Mormon's distance, yeah.
Yep.
What if you have
To leave room for the Holy Spirit.
Okay.
Somebody posted a graphic like that in our Discord. It was funny.
Oh, this thing keeps resetting. Hold on, give me a second. Looking for more. What's going on here?
She listening to TikTok down there.
She must be.
What's this? Have you guys read the Bible without the input of the Book of Mormon? And what are your thoughts on Christianity? Your current religious thoughts?
So I read my parents were divorced. My mom remarried someone who went to Bible college and was Christian. And so we attended a non-denominational Christian church for a while. And so I did read the non-Mormon version of the Bible that was, in my opinion, it was a lot easier to understand. I'm not sure which one it was. NIV, maybe, I don't remember, but which version. But
probably.
I personally liked it a lot better than the Book of Mormon. I felt like I understood it a lot better. But we haven't deconstructed Christianity and all those things yet. So
okay, I'm just changing the time of my Shannon Rose video to 10:45 just because I like this conversation. Saving. Okay.
Oh hell yeah!
Guys, don't want to miss that. Do not miss the Shannon Rose video today.
Okay. I'm still getting caught up. I could not believe the Nazi I was like,
Right.
absolutely not. And we haven't even
Okay,
finished that
then
video.
don't miss her excuse as to why it was okay today.
Oh
Bro,
I'm not
God,
giving
you can't
no,
justify that.
there's
Just own it.
Oh,
Yeah.
you
Just be
wait.
like, yep, I messed up. yo.
Yeah.
Just like,
Lizzie wants a goldfish.
come on.
So yes. Oh, wait. That's not who it is. Here it is. Wait.
Lizzie, get the goldfish.
Are Mormons allowed to watch horror movies?
As long as they're not rated R.
Yeah.
PG-13 kind of toes the line.
Just
So
no
Yeah.
nipples. No nipples.
no
nip
nippies.
nops.
Yeah, no nip nops. Definitely no Halloween or Friday the 13th. Anything like that.
Have you guys seen Paranormal Activity?
I've never seen Paranormal.
Oh my god!
Isn't that one rated R?
No, it's
It's
no,
not?
there's no nudity or anything. Okay, do me a favor. Do you guys have like a decent sound system?
No.
Then don't watch it. Come to my house and watch it. Okay,
Jordan
so
is
Paranormal
not.
Activity is like, I don't know why I love it so much. I'm also a big fan of like Blair Witch Project. When that came out, I was like, I almost peed my pants in that.
Really?
And it's all psychological horror, right? It's not. There's not graphics. It's
Yeah.
not bloody. It's all in your
That's
head.
what I
It's
didn't.
mind.
I didn't like that about it. I watched Blair
Oh.
Witch like probably like 4 years ago, and at the end I was like, "Are you serious? That was it?
Yeah. What happened? Why was he in the corner?
What
Well,
happened?"
okay, so watch this. So Paranormal Activity, you're gonna have to. You need at least a subwoofer. So find whatever. If you go to a friend's house that has a theater room or whatever, you have to watch Paranormal Activity and like good luck sleeping. Good luck.
Oh, if I've got spatial audio, my AirPods, they do the spatial audio, which
So
is
do
kind of cool.
that. Do that. Watch
have to
that
do that.
together. It's not. There's no. I don't know how to explain it. And in the chat, have you guys seen Paranormal Activity? Did it freak you out? I don't know. I can tell you guys a demon story about Bible college.
Like exorcism style?
No. Okay, wait, hold on. Well, that's cool, Margaret. Okay, so here's what I heard, and I actually tend to believe this guy's story. I don't believe in ghosts. You guys know that. I think that ghosts are. I don't believe in ghosts. I believe in demons because I grew up in in the church and understanding what. And I also read Frank Peretti's books. Have you ever heard of Frank Peretti?
Mm-mm.
Oh my gosh, read Frank Peretti. He's a Christian author, writes about angels and demons and how they interact with humans. It's like a fiction book. It's so good.
Oh,
It's
okay.
it's like warm. It's like I don't know. Anyway, this guy was saying that he woke up and he couldn't breathe on his dorm room bed, and there was a demon sitting on his chest. Like, and this same guy, not like a week later, he left school because he said that same demon. He woke up and there was like two yellow eyes staring at him in the end of his bed. And he's like, then he left. I'm like, what'd you do, bro? Who did you piss off?
Yeah, that's icky shit right there. I don't want
That's
any part
Bible
of that.
college. That's Bible college. This happened.
What the hell?
Yeah, here, Lisbeth says this. Paranormal Activity scared the shit. It will scare it if you got to be immersed in it. You can't take your eyes off. The way they do it, it's so good. It's so good. Difference between a demon and a ghost. It's a good question. I don't know. Demons are fallen angels.
Yeah, the
Don't
Mormon part of that would be, demons never received a body. Ghosts or spirits would be somebody who lived and died or something like that. That whole kind of area is kind of murky in Mormonism. It's kind of odd.
Dang. What else do we talk about? Why don't you guys throw some, I don't know, questions for people? You guys
Throw some. What
here's
should
one.
we?
Are there certain kinds of sex that are a huge no for Mormons?
Let's put this out there. In the 1970s, the first presidency sent out a letter to bishops to be read in sacrament meeting. That's the weekly meeting.
I can't imagine reading this.
They outlined a couple things, a couple policy changes. Among those things, they slipped in that in the pooper and blowies were sinful, and that if you participated in these practices, even as a married couple, that you should talk to your bishop and begin the repentance process so that you could continue to attend the temple.
Where they wrote down your sin and put it in a file somewhere.
So they could read it later.
So they could read it later. And then 9 months later, bishops stopped asking about that because there was such a huge uproar.
You think?
No tools or machinery. However, that policy was never recanted. So
never rescinded, so it still stands somewhat.
Technically, the butt stuff and blowies are still... They are sinful, disgusting acts.
I mean, no. Blowies. That's like the least of it all.
I know, right? Well, not just blowies, but also, the female version.
Well, it's kind of a good segue. I want to know how they deconstructed around gender and sexuality.
That I feel like is an ongoing process. And I feel like the most important thing for us is to listen to the people in our lives who don't conform to the binary way that we've set up gender and sexuality within current society, and listening to them and what they have to say, and learning about how we can be more inclusive, and just learning to understand that gender and sexuality are more of a spectrum, whereas Mormonism very much treats it like black and white.
Yeah. Like most churches would.
Yeah. That's why I love having long hair, because it makes people uncomfortable. They're like, oh man, are you kind of feminine? I'm like, and what if I were? I don't know.
Yeah, does that bother you?
I got hairy nipples. What about it?
Yeah.
Just say weird stuff. And this is another kind of we're gonna get into these are the big hot button items of today, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about churches who are trying to navigate this stuff. Mormons can just change their shit at a whim. But what's the Mormon reasoning for black people not being allowed in the Mormon faith until the 70s?
Mormons believe that people of African descent are descendants of Cain directly, through, I can't think of, because of the book of Moses or Abraham. They piece that genealogy together where Ham was a descendant of Cain, and then Canaanites after the flood came through. So there's a direct line to Cain. But they believe that because of Cain's sin, they were all cursed and they were not allowed to have the priesthood. Prophets taught that
people with black skin, it was a curse.
Were less than. Right. People with black skin in the pre-existence were less valiant in fighting against Satan and his followers. Wow. So there's that.
And then cultural pressure at the time as well.
And imagine the older Mormons that exist today were brought up in that ideology. Still, there are still Mormons. The current prophet was brought up in that ideology. And even Brigham Young was preaching that interracial marriage was an abomination to the Lord.
Yeah, that there were many of them that said they'd never change the policy on it, and that black people would never have the priesthood. And
okay. Hold on a second. And I think also that has a lot of fundamental Christians will say that too.
Yeah.
So that's still a thing that crosses over. Are there black bishops today? Are there black leaders?
Oh yeah, the church right now is huge in Africa and South America, and the whole policy changed. There were a lot of things going on at the time that were really convenient that they decided to change at that time. There was a temple being constructed in Sao Paulo, Brazil, and the members there were like, okay, well, who is dark-skinned Brazilian, who is African descent? Because we don't know who can go into the temple
tell the difference.
Or not.
Wow.
There was also a Supreme Court case with a Christian Bible college where they were not allowing interracial couples to be in the to be admitted to their university. There was also threat of losing or a lot of
being denied statehood and
not that.
That was polygamy, huh?
BYU not being able to play or being boycotted, being played against in football and things like that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What about that?
Okay.
So there was a lot happening.
There was a lot happening in those 70s.
Good social pressure did it. Okay. If you had been sealed in the church, then separate, and have a kid with someone else out of wedlock, what happens?
So if you're
That's
sealed, then separate. I guess it would depend on the circumstances of the separation.
If you weren't sealed to them, then that child would not be born under the covenant. There wouldn't, as long as you were married to that person, then there would be.
But if they
no
were
church
sealed, they would keep
disciplinary
the
action.
sealing unless she went and got
Yeah.
sealed to somebody else. So you would still be sealed unless he or you went and got married again.
Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of murky.
So weird. This person watched Paranormal Activity in a house alone during thunderstorm. This person is crazy.
I was gonna say that's
Don't do that.
sketch.
No, thank
Don't do it
you.
alone. I don't know what this means. Oh, I know what that means. Hold on. Hold on. We're almost. Hold on. Some more questions. How do they differentiate between sins and are they eventually forgiven if you repent?
We should make like a sin hierarchy.
Seriously.
Because that's kind of what it's like. They only give you like a few things that are bad enough that you need to confess to your bishop, and that's like, you know, if you commit a felony, if you're a Pluto, if you have sex before marriage.
The Pluto thing is kind of not very clear either.
True.
Because
basically,
Joseph Smith
the
Pluto?
given hierarchy where you have to go to your bishop. The worst of the worst sin is denying the Holy Ghost. That's not something that would happen while you're in this life. Then murder, then sexual sin, whether it be adultery or fornication. From then on, it would be
Minor
things on the temple recommend questions. If you're not following those ones, you would have to talk to your bishop to repent about them. And then just everything else, like lying or whatever, is not something you have to talk to your bishop about for.
This is a good question. And no, adoption is humongous in the Mormon Church. Massive.
Yep.
Didn't Jordan
LDS
tell me at one
services
point
can
that-
do.
They have their own
isn't
adoption
it
agency.
where, like, if a teenager has a baby at a wedlock, often they'll try to get that baby adopted into a family who cannot have children. Like, it's almost like for lack of a better word,
You
traffic.
goofed.
Yeah, I know a person that I actually know someone that happened to, and that was very much the case. She wanted to keep her child, and she was very much encouraged to give it up to a Mormon family who were married.
Well, she was coerced, really, into it.
And that's what I'm saying. For lack of a better term, that's trafficking, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, this one will stay up, Taylor. A weird. I imagine it's probably just like anybody else.
Mental illnesses. It's kind of an iffy one. The church.
There's lots of stigma associated, just like culturally, which I think is normal for most churches.
A lot of people want to have that sunny Mormon disposition all the time, so anything that would inhibit that is kind of like
looked down upon. Yeah,
and then LDS family services, and they have like therapists and things like that, but they
don't get me started.
Yeah, don't get you. It's not good. They're mostly Mormon based, not really science evidence based.
So Barbie LO says LDS social services no longer have any adoption services.
Oh, that's new to me. I didn't know they weren't doing adoptions anymore.
Why though? Why would they stop that?
I don't know.
Probably legal issues.
Probably.
Yeah.
Cover their ass somehow, some way.
Mm-hmm. Hold on. No. Yep, right here.
Handmaid's Tale.
Basically.
What's the setting of Handmaid's Tale? I feel like
So it's like, I think it's a dystopian future type of.
What's the place called?
I don't know.
I don't remember. I read the book. I haven't seen it.
I've seen a couple episodes. My wife and I are starting to get into it. It's filmed in right next to my hometown.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Yeah.
We have a lot of Hallmark movies that get filmed around town here.
So weird.
It's funny.
I think Cambridge, where it's filmed, is a Hallmark place too. It's pretty cool. I don't watch Hallmark movies because they're lame, but
I see people throwing around this name of some place, and I feel like it's from Handmaid's Tale. I can't think of what it is though.
I don't think these guys watch too many family vloggers. They only probably watch them through me.
Yes. 8 passengers is on the shit list because of the milk cake. Dude, I watched that one. I was like,
Well, aren't they?
Hey, Radiant.
They're the ones that did that weird thing where they like take their kids out and have this sex talk, right? That's them, right?
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
that was bad.
Yeah, we were not a fan of that.
That was bad. No, wait. What, was that 8 passengers? Was that? I don't remember.
Or was that not enough Nelsons?
I think
They're
that's
like-
not enough Nelson.
I don't know.
They're all bad. So
All right. My other videos are gonna start coming. I don't know what's going on. It's not uploading. I gotta fix it. So I think our next big video we do, let's talk about the idea. What was the one we really need to dive into?
wasn't it money?
Was it money or there's another one? There was another one. What do you guys want to see in the chat? What video do you guys want to see us uncover? There was a big one. We were talking about something that we should probably bring back. Or not bring back, that we should really dive into. What was it? LGBTQ?
That might have been it. I think we've talked about that before, at least.
We did, sort of, yeah.
Hey, what I'll do, if that one guy that I don't remember what the person was, their name was, I'll throw a bunch of direct quotes together, and you can just put it in the description.
We need to do a whole episode based on literally all the things that have changed and how they do it.
Oh.
Throwing receipts out there and stuff like that.
Okay.
That's it. Awesome, guys. I know I didn't give you guys much notice to come on here, but that was good. I like these lives. These are cool. Like they're
This
really
is fun.
Yeah. Oh, we love doing lives. Like that was our bread and butter when we were just on
When
TikTok.
we first started, yeah.
I know. This is
Now
great.
every time I go on TikTok, I just get the stupid Bo Burnham song stuck in my head, so I avoid TikTok.
Same.
Okay. So everybody, make sure you head over to Jordan McKay on their TikTok, on their YouTube, on their Instagram, on their MySpace. Make sure you get in there, subscribe, watch their videos, and obviously hit the subscribe button and the bell. Watch all their stuff. It's all good. You guys know it. They're really good. They're amazing. And like Jordan has really cool shirts.
Thanks.
So, hey, thank you everybody for joining us today. Any questions? I think it might be cool to do like a real video and then do a live, because I really like this idea, like these questions.
Yeah.
And then we don't always have to talk about Mormonism. We can just shoot the shit too. We don't have to do that.
Oh, 4 days.
Yeah.
We literally, our whole trip, listened to Mormon Stories podcast the whole time, so I'm like fired up about it again.
You ready to go? Okay, good. I love it. All right, guys. Thank you for joining me. You guys are amazing. And everybody have a good, is it Friday? Oh, yeah.
It is Friday.
After the Shannon Rose video, I might just come back live and just do some songs. We'll see.
Sounds
It's
good.
lit.
We're going to go watch it now.
All right, guys. Peace.
Thanks for having
Peace.
us. Bye.